Hello Year 7 and welcome to another maths video. Today we're going to be looking at prime numbers, composite numbers and factor trees. Okay, this is following on in our number theory series. We just looked at factors, multiples, the lowest common multiple and highest common factor. Okay, so today is going a bit deeper into that world of factors. Okay, remember that a factor is a number that can divide another number evenly. So let's consider the number 8. Okay, we can think of what are numbers that when you divide 8 by them, give you a whole number. So 8 can be divided by 8 to give you 1. So that means 8 is a factor. It means that 1 is a factor as well. You can divide 8 by 1. You can also divide 8 by 4 to get 2. And that means you can also divide 8 by 2 to get 4. So that means the factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. They are the numbers that you can divide 8 by to get a whole number. Okay. Now, a prime number, you may have already heard of this. A prime number is a number whose only factors are itself and 1. Okay, so there are no other factors, just 1 and itself. Okay, a composite number is a number that is not a prime number. So therefore it has a factor that is as well as itself and 1, we'll have another number there. So we've got an example here. Example 1, are the following numbers prime or composite? Okay, so we've got A, 7, B, and 9. To find out whether it's prime or composite, we just need to consider all of the factors of these numbers. So let's look at example A. What are the factors or the numbers that you can divide 7 by to get a whole number? So you can divide it by 1 and you will get itself, 7. And now are there any other numbers you can do it by? You can't do it by 3, can't do it by 5. Each of those will give you something other than a whole number. So those are the only factors of 7. Okay, so we can say that 7 is a prime number because its only factors are itself and 1. Let's consider the number 9. Okay, what are the factors of 9? Well, we can do 1, we can do itself. Are there any others numbers that we can divide 9 by to get a whole number? We can also divide it by 3. And that is all, but because we've got a factor that is not itself and 1, 9 is a composite number. Okay, so all numbers are either primes or composites. Composite just means it's made up of other numbers, so you can consider a composite number, that factor is sort of a number that makes up 9, so that is why it's called composite. All right, now let's look at factor trees. Now what a factor tree is, it's a way of splitting up a number into its parts or its factors. Okay, we're going to keep splitting it up until we get to numbers that can't be split up anymore, numbers that are prime numbers. Okay, so when we do a factor tree, we branch the number off until we get to numbers that cannot be split up anymore. Okay, now remember, a prime factor is a factor that is a prime number that just means it can't be split up anymore. So let's look at this first example, 180. Now a helpful thing to be able to split up factor trees is to consider the small prime numbers. So let's think of all the prime numbers, that is, numbers that only have factors that are itself and 1, that are less than 10. Okay, so we can think of 2 is a prime number, so just 2 and 1 are its factors. 3 is a prime number. 4 is not because 2 is a factor, but 5 is. 6 is not because 2 and 3 are factors, but 7 is. So let's just keep those numbers in mind before we start these questions, because it's going to help us proceed as we work through this question. So find the prime factors of 180. Okay, we're going to write 180. What we're going to do is we're going to split it up in factor pairs. Now, the way I like to work through this is I think of the smallest possible prime number and I think, can I divide the number we're talking about by that smallest possible prime number? So the smallest possible prime number is 2. Can 180 be divided by 2? It can. So we can split 180 into 2, and then whatever the other number that we get when we divide 180 by 2. So divide 180 by 2, you get 90. So that is the way that we start off our split into our factor tree. Now, 2 is a prime number, so we can't split it up anymore. So what I like to do is I circle the number if it's a prime, and if it's not a prime, well then I'm going to keep splitting up. So 90 is not a prime. Let's see if I can split it up again. I can split 90 into 2. So again, I like to always pick the smallest possible number. So I'm going to pick 2. And the other number, 90 divided by 2 is 45. Okay. So now we can circle that 2 again because it's prime. But 45 we can continue splitting up. So 45, can 2 fit into it? No, it can't. So I'm going to pick the next smallest prime, which is 3. Can 3 fit into 45? Well, yes, it can, because 15 and 3 make 45. So I can go 3 and 15. Okay, I can circle the 3. And then I can split 15 into 3 and 5. Now, both 3 and 5 are prime, so I circle them. And when there's no more numbers left, all the bottom numbers are circled, then we have finished our factor tree. However, we haven't finished our question. We need to find the prime factors of 180. So factors of 180, okay, we've got 2, we've got 2 again, we've got 3, we've got 3 again, and we've got 5. They're the prime factors, sorry, of 180. So if we write this in index form, so in index form, if we have 2 2's, we can write that as 2 to the power of 2, okay, because we have 2 2's in our list. We've got 2 3's, so we can write that as 3 to the power of 2, and we've just got 1 5. So we just write 5. We don't need to write to the power of 1. We can just write it as that. So the prime factors, to answer the question, is going to be 2, 3, and 5. Those are the prime factors of 180. Let's do this question again for the second example. So we're going to start with 168 here. We're going to split it up into its prime factors. So again, I'm going to start with the smallest possible one, 2. Now, what does 168 divided by 2 equal? It's going to be 84. Okay, the way I did that is I know that 160 divided by 2 is 80, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4, so therefore 168 divided by 2 is 84. Okay, we can circle our 2 because it's prime. 84, can it be split up by 2? It can. 2 and 42. Okay, and now we can split 42 up by 2 and 21. And then we can't split 21 up by 2, but we can by 3, and its other factor is 7. And both of these numbers are prime numbers. So we've finished our factor tree. So factors of 168, we've got 2, 2, 2, 3, and 7. So in index form, that's going to be 2 to the power of 3, 3, and 7. And so the prime factors are 2, 3, and 7. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a go at those example questions. Remember, if you have any questions about how to do them, contact me in the group chat on Microsoft Teams. Otherwise, good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.